Hey, what's going on everybody? F1 here, and today we're going to be talking about my latest and greatest keybinds. Now I have other videos on my keybinds, but things have changed mainly because I switched my mouse. And since I did that, people have been asking me if I can do an updated version of my keybinds because they noticed it in my streams or in other videos that I don't have the same ones that I did before. Before we get started, if you would like to support me, my supporter creator code is just F1, just the name. And feel free to use my Discord. I have a great community. A lot of people using the LFG section to find other people to play with, whether it's Turtle Wars or 1v1s or just playing together in general. And like I said earlier, the reason I changed my keybinds is because I did change my mouse. I used to use the G502. Had a whole bunch of buttons on it, customizable keybinds and things like that. And I was making the most of it while having some building and also my editing and things like that on my mouse. But I did switch to the Ninja AR58 when that came out, which only has 2 side mouse buttons. Most of the mouses up there have 2 keybinds, so most of you will be able to relate. Not everybody had the G502 or something that had that many keybinds on it. But since I did lose buttons and extra things that I was using, I had to start putting them back on the keyboard, and I had to rearrange things according to ease of use and things like that. And I guess right now would be a good time to kind of break down my philosophy when it comes to like keybinds, so you kind of make sense of what's going on. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I just want the most used abilities and things that we use to be the easiest to press, and then kind of just go out from there. So things closer to your fingers and wherever they're kind of resting, if you're using WASD, but you're gonna find out in a second I use ESDF, but anything around there, and then you kind of spread out with like most used kind of thing. And I also don't like certain things to impede movement. So if I'm editing, I want to be able to edit and also strafe to the left or strafe to the right, not be kind of confined or have to jump in order to kind of make up for that ability. So like one of my things is like, let's give it for most of you guys to understand. If you guys use WASD and you edit with something like F, if you strafe to the right because you're pressing on D, it's kind of hard to hit F, right? It's easier to strafe to the left, hitting A, so you can hit F. I kind of don't like that. Look, there's people who are way faster editors than me, and they do it with ease. I don't know how they do it so easily. I kind of like to be able to strafe left and right and do whatever I need to do movement-wise while being able to edit. And that's just, for instance, kind of how I go about my keybinds and things like that. So let's hop into the actual keybinds with that being said, and we're just gonna kind of go down the list and we'll go from there. And obviously, like I said before, you're gonna notice ESDF is my movement. I am not gonna break into that. I'm not gonna get into why. I'll have a separate video literally all talking about ESDF. I'm gonna put a link into that in the end of this video. Also, it's gonna be down in the description below. Like I said, ESDF, boom, right there. Nothing special here with spacebar with jump. Sprint, I don't have it bound. Why? Because it was default, I think, on shift, on left shift. I ended up using left shift for something else, and I've never needed once to walk. I always have sprint on. I have the auto sprint feature on, and I've never once needed to like walk or wish I could walk. If there was ever a time where I needed to slow down and kind of walk or be quiet or something like that, you just crouch and kind of like strafe sideways and like look around, and there's never been an issue. So I trained myself out of having to like always tap shift or hold it, and then I moved it to something else, which you'll see shortly. Crouch, don't even worry about this. This was a little test a while ago. This is for my old mouse. Caps lock. I use ESDF. It's just moving my pinky over and then tapping caps lock. Nothing out of the normal here with your fire target, but reload is middle mouse button. I've done this with all my shooters. It just kind of makes sense to navigate your gun with like ADS, shoot, and then also reloading it all right there. Don't mind me, I just got rid of the B. I don't know why that was even there. All right, so like you see, left shift, I use it for use. That's my opening the doors, that's my picking up things, whatever you're doing right there, I use left shift. It's just an easy way. It's mainly because there's more things that I felt like were more important that I wanted to put in the center and tighter and closer into my my like core hand placement. And shift is super easy to hit. Like you just keep tapping it and it works. I just had to train myself into it a little bit, but it works 100% fine, and I like it a lot. Harvesting tool, I use H. Nothing really much more to say about that. Now these weapon slots are organized in a way where I always put everything's key bound. You see, so I'm using ESDF. I use GVZXC. And the thing is, I always put a certain type of weapon in that slot always, so I always know what I'm pulling out at all times. So if an AR is always in this slot right here, a shotgun's always in this slot, SMG is always in my Z slot. X is always kind of like that other category, whether I'm having a sniper, some kind of explosive, or if I have if I'm running double heal, then I'll put that there. C is always heal. So it's like muscle memory where I know exactly what I'm pulling out, whatever situation I need to use it in. This is important. It's one of the relatively newer features that they've come out with. Just make sure you bind it to whatever you had caps. Like I said before, my crouch is caps lock. crouch while building allows you to, while you have your map open and you're like placing builds and stuff like that, you can still crouch. And while we're on the subject of that, we do have crouch while editing. Same thing, you just use just make it the same exact keybind, and while you're in the edit mode, you can crouch. And now for the actual building things that we have going on here. Wall is a mouse button 2. Sorry for my green screen, but it's the closer one up here. That's my wall. Stairs, ramp, whatever, is the one closer to me. So I have the wall and the ramp here, and then I have floor on W, and then I have my roof, the pyramid, on R, which is literally just kind of those two right next to each other. I can cycle between them really fast, and then I can cycle between the builds, and it kind of all works together cohesively. Traps T, right there on the side. Repair, Y, something that you're not doing like super fast or whatever, but you still kind of want to be able to do, but it's not, people aren't really doing it that often. The rotate building, what I have it on, is honestly, it's not even used that much. I've seen it used a little bit more in some build battles to jump off to the side and kind of like rotate your ramp down to catch yourself a little smoother. But it's really not moved that or used that often. But I use my mouse wheel down to kind of just cycle it around. Now this part right here, this is pretty dope right here with the instant reset. So your reset building edit. So right here, it's right mouse button default. I don't take that off. But what I do is on the secondary bind, if you don't know what instant reset is, it's just like another way to just reset using your mouse wheel. You just scroll the wheel real fast and it'll just reset really fast. The way you do that is reset building edit. You have that mouse wheel up, and then you also have your edit secondary bind right here. We'll get onto this later, but you also see mouse wheel up here as well. But really all you got to do is you just flick the wheel real like fast and go up, and it'll just reset the building. You literally can catch yourself from falling. If you like, before it breaks, you can reset something. I'll show you a clip of that. But I've gotten used to it and I definitely love it, and I'm not gonna change from this. It's so nice to use. I am gonna show you a little clip of something of me using it in game. Don't mind what I was saying. I was doing it in stream and I was just talking on my stream. So I'm gonna run that clip real quick so you can see it being used in action. And I did it again. Absolutely bamboozled. All right, my ping marker is Q. Just something easy that I can at least tap twice and I can say it's an enemy marker. I don't have the place enemy marker bound because you can do it really quick by tapping it twice, or if you're ADSing, it'll place an enemy marker anyway. Push to talk, I never use push to talk, to be honest with you, so I just don't have it bound. I'll let you figure out whatever you want to use. Now, my building edit, like I said before, my philosophy is all about being able to move and do whatever I want and not having it impede movement. Making it A, which is already in a place where my hand is resting already because I'm using ESDF and my pinky just sits over A. It's always there, it's very accessible. Also, it doesn't impede my movement. I can move left, right, I can do whatever I want. I can still edit fast, and I really like this change that I've made. My vehicle exit and changing seat is literally the same things I have on my build. You just got mouse button 1 and 2 for being able to change seat and then jumping off. The only other important thing is if you're gonna follow me and do ESDF, you want to change your pitch forward and your pitch backward. That's when you're in a vehicle or something like that and like the ATV and you're trying to fly it around, you're trying to make it go up and down or whatever, so you can just kind of keep flying around into whatever zone you're gonna go. It doesn't automatically change it to whatever your movements are. It's a specific keybind, so you have to make sure you change that. It took me way too long to figure this out, so I'm gonna go ahead and help you out and tell you that right now. The baller that's in right now currently does not come, actually I don't know if they changed it, but it doesn't have default keybinds last I saw. So if you wanted to set yours up, it's kind of how, like mine, this is kind of how I have it. And that pretty much does it for the keybinds. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope this helped you guys out. This is the latest and greatest right now, is what I'm using. I hope it works out for you. Everybody, thank you so much for the support, hanging out, join the channel. Thanks for using my supported creative code. You guys are awesome. Y'all take care. I'll see y'all in the next one.